Picking up from the previous session, we studied about the formation of blastocyst. This has a central cavity or the blastocoele, an inner cell mass that will form the embryo, and an outer layer or the trophoblast. The trophoblast helps in implantation of this blastocyst into the endometrium. After implantation, finger-like projections appear into the trophoblast, and these projections grow into the endometrium. These projections are known as chorionic villi. The chorionic villi are closely in contact with the blood vessels of endometrium, and they begin to form the placenta, and this process is known as placentation. Why is placenta important? Placenta is contributed by maternal and embryonic tissue. Endometrium of the uterus and the trophoblast of the blastocyst together form the placenta, and this placenta is the link between the maternal and embryonic tissue. It provides for nutrition and respiration of developing embryo. Not only this, it also helps in the removal of waste and carbon dioxide from the developing embryo. The placenta is connected to the embryo by a cord which is known as umbilical cord. But this is not all. Placenta also has endocrine functions. Now here you can see the placenta, the placental villi. This is the umbilical cord connecting the embryo to the placenta. So we come back to the endocrine function. Endocrine function means it secretes hormones. So the main hormones secreted are human chorionic gonadotrophin or HCG, human placental lactogen HPL, estrogens and progestogens. Now out of these, human chorionic gonadotrophin and human placental lactogen, these two hormones are secreted only during pregnancy. The level of other hormones such as estrogens, progesterones, cortisol, prolactin, thyroxine, these also rise during pregnancy. They are important for the growth of embryo, metabolism of mother, and for maintenance of pregnancy. Now there is one more hormone that is exclusively secreted during pregnancy. In fact, during later stages of pregnancy, this is relaxin. But this one is secreted by ovary and not by the placenta. Now as the placenta is being formed, embryonic cell mass which is inside the blastocyst is also dividing. This embryonic cell mass gets differentiated into two layers first, the ectoderm and the endoderm, and later on a third middle layer is formed, that is the mesoderm. Now you recall that these three are the germ layers that will form the various organs in the later stages. Now, besides these three layers, the ectoderm, the mesoderm and the endoderm, this embryonic cell mass will also contain certain stem cells. These are like the meristems of plants. They are undifferentiated and retain the ability to divide and develop into any type of tissues or organs. Now we come to the next topic, that is gestation. Now gestation is the period of human pregnancy which lasts for around 9 months. This 9-month period is divided into 3 trimesters. The first trimester or the 3 months, the first 3 months involve organogenesis, that is formation of organs. In the first month, the heart develops. In the second month, the limbs and the fingers develop, and by the end of the third month, all the major organs have developed. That is why this first trimester, comprising of the first, second and third month, is said to involve organogenesis. Now the second trimester involves body movements and the development of hairs, especially on the skull, eyelashes, etc. Process of delivery of fetus or childbirth is known as parturition. This event occurs at the end of the gestation period and it involves vigorous contractions of myometrium of uterus. Now, how do these contractions originate? The origin of or the conduct of these contractions is controlled by a neuroendocrine mechanism. Now, how does this happen? Before we are able to understand this, let's recall that myometrium in uterus is a muscular layer. It is the middle layer in the wall of the uterus, and this is the layer which contains muscles which produce contractions that result in parturition. Now let's start to understand the neuroendocrine mechanism. So the mature fetus and the placenta together induce mild contraction in the myometrium. Now, these mild contractions ultimately result in parturition or the ejection of the fetus from mother's body. So, these mild contractions are also known as fetal ejection reflex. Now, this is originating from the fetus itself, and that is why it is known as fetal ejection reflex. These contractions cause release of oxytocin from the pituitary gland of mother, that is the maternal pituitary gland. Now this oxytocin causes further and stronger contractions in the muscles of uterus. Now these contractions cause further release of oxytocin, and the oxytocin again causes stronger contractions in the uterine muscles. So contractions become stronger and stronger until the child is pushed out of mother's body, and this is known as parturition or childbirth. A simultaneous change occurs in mammary gland along with pregnancy. After parturition, mammary glands begin to secrete milk. Secretion of milk from mammary gland is known as lactation. This is due to changes in mammary gland during pregnancy. Mother's milk during the initial few days contains colostrum. This is a yellow colored liquid. Colostrum contains several antibodies. It helps the child to develop resistance since it does not have any antibodies of its own. So that is why mother's milk is highly recommended for the health of the newborn child. With this, we come to the end of this session and also this lesson of yours, Chapter 3, Human Reproduction. Here are your questions. Try solving them and let me know if you have any doubts. All the best and thank you.